you have this environment, you can put the virus in that environment, and you, in a sandboxing type of environment, you can learn the effect of the virus, and then you can design the technology, or you can design your antivirus thing. Now, this was the basic VT, but now in the second phase, we have built a complete information security kit where we are having different types of networks. And in different types of networks, there are two phases. In the first phase, a learner has to build the network, means with all the security knowledge he has to build that network. Then we have an environment where the instructor will launch the attack, and the learner has to design the countermeasures in real time. The first environment was a static one where first you have to launch the attack, and once the attack is successful, second you design the countermeasure, and after that you again launch the attack, and then you test your countermeasure. But this is a real time of environment, means the attack is going on and you are designing countermeasures, and you are learning the technology, what you have learned, whether what you have learned is successful in designing the countermeasures or not. In this phase, we have a very important, that is secure network built for a customized network. This is basically, this exercise 7 is for building a secure architecture, because suppose one has been given a task to design a secure network. But how? Can you design it on just pen or paper? You cannot build a secure network. You can put technology to use, and then once you have designed the architecture, means generally people do in research R&D this prototype simulation where they build with mathematical model a prototype, and then they create an environment, and then through that they learn. This is a similar environment where you can build a network, and then you have attacks. Whatever the attacks, you launch on those networks, and you can test whether those attacks are successful. If those attacks are successful, that means your security architecture that was designed is not correct. Again you modify it, and then again launch attack. So this is a very sequential type of thing where just you can improve on your network architecture, and finally you build up a secure architecture. Now, in conjunction to this, we have launched a national level certification scheme in information security that has 3 levels. Level 1 is Certified System Security Analyst CSSA. Level 2 is Certified System Security Professional CSSP. And level 3, there are 3 parts: Certified Information Security Auditor CISA, Certified System Security Designer, and then Certified Computer Forensics Professional. These are the eligibility criteria for this certification scheme, and this certification scheme we have launched under this Information Security Education and Awareness Project, as was mentioned by the discussant. Now this certification scheme is in a regular course as well as distance course, means you can join a center or you can just learn through yourself, and for practical you can use this virtual training environment for performing hands-on, because this is available in a public cloud environment where you can just access it from your home or any place you want. Now we in forensic, we have assisted SFI in setting up forensic lab, and we have completed the phase 1 of this. Now the Jammu and Kashmir Center is also working on various forensics projects, and they have developed a forensic lab and where they are training the various law enforcement agencies, J&K police and military persons on that. And these labs have been built. One has been built at the Srinagar and one at the Jammu Center. So the J&K Center is also helping the J&K police in completion of CCTNS project. Yes. So this is the all thing which NILIT has done for capacity building in the area of information security and cybersecurity.
Now Dr. Kumar will talk on the third rather subject of DIS. I think you will give one session each for
Good evening, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. I'll be generally speaking about Geospatial Delhi Limited, which is a company 100% owned by Delhi government, providing GIS services. This company basically got its GIS products from a project called as Delhi State Spatial Data Infrastructure, which was done by Survey of India and Delhi government. The project involved collection of data using aircrafts, ortho imagery, satellite imagery, ground truthing, texturing, and it resulted in around 350 layers consisting of 3D imagery of all objects above the ground and also all the underground utilities. They used ground penetrating radars to collect the underground utilities up to 4 meters, consisting of water pipeline, electricity, gas, whatever you name, that is underground also. Now, this resulted in this 360 layers of the entire Delhi, all 1,500 square kilometers of Delhi, we have the data. But the method of disseminating this data to the departments primarily and to others who want this data was not thought of initially in the project. Intranet lease lines were provided to one computer in each of the offices, and obviously no one is going to use it or come to your office to use that particular data. It took us a lot of time to convince our board, and ultimately we could get an internet-enabled engine. And in the last 4 months, we have been able to develop applications and provide services in the internet domain. Since we do not have internet, I am not able to show, but I would request the audience to go to India Post and also Education Department. In the case of India Post, we have marked each and every post box of Delhi, who is in charge of the post box, when it will be opened, all the services that are provided in post offices, the jurisdiction of each postman, the pin code jurisdiction, and all administrative boundaries of postal department as well as other departments. Now, when you go to the Indian Post and either you can search, if you know the pin code, you can search your area, or you know your area, you can search your pin code, and you can locate yourself, and whichever facility you want, it will show you the nearest facility and how to go to that particular facility also. The same is the case of Education Department. During admission season in Delhi particularly, you want to know which is the nearest school, what facilities are there in the school. You just put your locality and sub-locality, you can mark it, and then automatically it will do a buffer analysis and tell you the schools from the shortest distance from your house to the largest distance, and once you click on that particular house, it will take you a particular school. It will take you to that school and provide you all other data which has been given, who is the principal, how many seats are there, what are the fees and other facilities that is available in that particular school. Now these two are already up and running. Anyone can go to the website and see it. Now, two important projects that we are doing is, Registrar General of India has given to us the project where the enumeration blocks used in census are digitized. Since we have one unique ID for each of the buildings, they also generate one unique ID called as PAN number for each of the households. So we are trying to match these two in the planned areas of Delhi, and subsequently, also tell them how to kind of do the enumeration block more scientifically. See, a group of enumeration blocks becomes polling station, and a group of polling station becomes wards, and a group of wards becomes assembly constituency, and the assembly constituency will become parliamentary constituency. In Delhi, as of now, we have 63 boundaries which are different from one another. As a citizen, it's very difficult to really identify any common boundary. Each police has its own boundary, revenue has its own boundary, food and civil supplies has its own boundary. So we are trying to kind of not mark the polling station. Polling stations has already been marked by the election department. We are now trying to digitize the precinct area of each polling station, the area which each polling station represents. Now similarly for the National Security Guard, we recently got a work order for them to give the data at a very short notice, particularly the 3D imagery and the building top view, so that they can decide how their operations in an emergency situation, particularly when the Honorable Prime Minister decided to take off the Red Fort that is protective glass cover. NSG found that we have this data, and in fact we only provided them the data where they can position their marksmen and other things. Now coming to the future, in fact, Government of India gave us around 20 crores, something known as Smart City project, wherein I am supposed to develop all these applications, get servers, and use cloud computers, everything. But it took me really 1 year to convince and go through the process to appoint project management unit. Initially, we thought we'll appoint DCIL. Finance department told no, you go through a tender. We went through a tender, we went through a cabinet note, and somehow luckily we have been able to finalize the project management unit, and hopefully we'll be able to take it further. As part of Smart City project, which the Government of India has told recently, I think GIS will be very essential at the macro level. Even the zonal plan or the land pooling policy which DDA has now recently advertised